Okay, so welcome everybody, and thanks for joining us for a quick session for new consultants on how to get off to a fast start in our business, okay? So you have a choice as a new consultant on how you approach this business. And I know that some of you are just nervous as all get out, and that's okay. I was right there with you when I first started. And you're gonna have to decide what path you wanna take in this business. Some of you are just gonna want to sell products to your friends and family, and that's okay. Some of you are a little bit intrigued about how to grow a team and what that looks like, and we're gonna talk a little bit about that today. And some of you are ready to go crazy. I hope that's a lot of you on the call today, because this business opportunity is insane, and what it's done for a lot of us in just a short 6 years is absolutely incredible. So I hope that you'll at least open your mind to getting off to a very quick start. What I do want to remind you is no matter where you fall on the spectrum, you want to get a return on your investment. Nobody ever starts a business wanting to just put money in and never get money out. So what I'm going to teach you today is at a very minimum how to get your investment back. From there, you can decide if you want to stay more on that product-centric sort of business path, if you want to do just a little bit more, or if you want to go gangbusters. You can decide, and all of them are okay. So please listen to this training with that as the filter, but we do want to get every person that joined Team Give off to a fast start to get their kit reimbursed and get their money back on what they invested in. We owe you that as your team, so that's what we're out to do today. Okay. So what we're going to be talking about today is basically just how to get off to a strong start. Now, there's really not much to it. I know that sometimes it can feel a little overwhelming, as if there's so much information in the Getting Started checklist and the 14-day training program and all of that. What this is designed for you today is to hone in on just the 5 things that are most important. So if you're feeling overwhelmed and you feel like there's too much information flying around, I want you to just focus in on these 5 things, and you are gonna feel like a rock star when you're able to complete these 5 things, okay? So we're gonna start by talking about your why, which honestly is the most important step you have in this business. We're gonna talk about making that list and just some quick reach out language that you can always go to when you're in a bind. We're going to talk about your first 3 conference calls, which are key because they're going to be so easy and you're going to learn how easy they are. Then you're going to map out, how do I get this team started and who could I do it with? And then lastly, we're going to talk about just scheduling that BBL. Quick, easy, simple. I want to hone in on what's important in this business. Okay, so to begin, we have to talk about your why. Now, for those of you that don't know, my background is in the military, and honestly, I'm not a totally emotive girl, right? I've been trained to shut that part of my brain down. So when I was presented with this why exercise of why are we doing this business, there's a why that makes you cry inside. I thought, okay, this is super cheesy. I don't really want to do this. But what I realized is it's very important. After 6 years, I've learned the importance of this exercise. So I highly recommend, no matter how cheesy you feel like it is, you've got to do it, okay? Now, when you join this business, people are going to ask you why. You may have a good job already. You may already be successful in other parts of your life. This is skincare. Maybe you feel like this, direct sales is something people didn't think you would do. So you're going to have to be able to answer that question. So let me tell you my story. I started out as an active duty officer in the Air Force, met my husband, went to the Air Force Academy. That's where we met. We started a family, and I had to jump off the career train, even though I was really good at it, to stay home with kids. Okay, that was awkward for me. Staying home with kids was not my best self. I love my kids dearly, but I was looking for something else. So I started this business. But the biggest hurdle I had was I went to the Air Force Academy. Now I'm selling eye cream. How are my friends going to negotiate this? And most people, when you start this business, have this weird jump in of how do I present it? Now, for me, it wasn't the skincare, actually. My why was I saw this as an opportunity to share a business with other military business entrepreneurs, mostly military spouses, who have a very hard time keeping jobs when we do every couple years. And so this was something I could leave a legacy through. I could teach all these women how to run their own businesses. So it was really hard for me to present it as just eye cream or something like that when it was something far bigger for me. I really had to sit and think about my why and come up with a great crafted answer for why am I doing this? And when people would ask me why, I would say, because I'm going to change the unemployment rate for military spouses. This business is going to do it, and I'm going to start that chain. That was a powerful proposition. It was way more than a little bottle of eye cream and a pity order is what I called it. I wasn't after pity orders. I was after to make big change. And the way you present this business really matters. If you're kind of shy about it and you say, well, would you like to buy my eye cream? Or this eye cream is going to change lives because I'm going to, stop the unemployment that's going on in the military world. That's two different propositions. So really think through, why is it that you're doing this? Yes, we all want a paycheck. That's inevitable. But the reason that you do this is far deeper than just that paycheck. It's going to go to create security or community or freedom or deep-seated reasons inside you that are far greater than just the number on the paycheck. But you got to ask yourself why. Now, if you have a hard time thinking of why, you probably want to ask yourself why several times, okay? So it might look something like this. So when I said, well, why do you want to do this? Well, I want to help military spouses. Well, why do you care about that? Well, I feel like as a military spouse, I was kind of a second-rate individual. Well, why did that matter to you? Well, because I never wanted to be second-rate. Well, why? Why? Because I came from a small town and I felt like I was always second-rate there too, and I had big dreams to break out. Well, why did you have big dreams? Well, because, I actually started out in a really hard situation where I felt shameful about my family situation from the very beginning, and I always wanted to overcome that. Okay, so why did that matter? Because everybody just wants to feel accepted or whatever. But the bottom line is it created this identity for me. If I really ask myself, why do I care about military spouses with this skincare company? It goes all the way deep inside the layers of my onion to the fact that I've always wanted to prove that I was worth something, okay? Now, it doesn't have to be dramatic and you don't have to share that with the world, but you need to know why you are doing it inside. It's very important that you know that because I'll be really honest, this business gets hard at times. People are going to tell you no. Not everybody's going to want this the first go around. A lot of my friends said no before they ever said yes later. You got to be ready for that. And this why is the thing that will be bigger than any of those no's on any given hard day. It's like your reset button that you can push at any point in time to say, yes, I know why I'm doing this. And a couple of no's are no big deal because this is too important for me to give up on. Okay? This business is hard at times, but it's totally worth it if you're running after a strong why. So take the time to sit down with your sponsor and explain why you're doing this. And if you're having trouble coming up with your why, sit down with them too and tell them that, and they can probably help you through it. Now, this is a sweet moment for me. This was a couple years ago where my why came to life. At first I thought, well, what if one person joins me? That'll be success, right? Because one more person will know the power of business. This is about 3 years ago at our Rodan and Fields convention. This guy right here with the hat on is Katie Rodan's father, and this is her mother. And her father is a former Marine, and so he came to talk to the military spouses. We had a Facebook page, and I said, hey, everybody come join us in this one room. It was kind of off the cuff, random. And I thought, well, there's a few more military spouses than last year, so maybe if 50 people show up, it'll be a success. And this was a truly emotional moment for me because military spouses came streaming in the room, and to the point where I was just moved beyond words into tears to just show that it worked, that all that hard work and all that effort and all that dreaming that I did worked because I kept at it. So you have a why inside you that's going to be this picture one day, and that's what's going to kick off your business in the strongest way possible. Okay, now the point of what we want is to get you your return on investment. So the way we're going to do that is through this program we call Fast Start, okay? Now what it is that you're going to try and get to what we call level 2, meaning that you have 2 business partners by the end of your 3rd month in business, okay? So you've got 3 months to do it. The first month is the one you joined in, and then 2 additional months afterward. Now, if you happen to sign in the month of April of 2017, you're going to get an extra month because of our IT bumbles last month. So you're actually getting a little bit of extra time to get that Fast Start bonus. Now, what the bonus is when you achieve that level 2 status, you're going to get whatever kit you purchased, you're going to get that amount back into your paycheck as a bonus. Now, it's important that you understand that bonus is on top of your sales and commissions. So whatever you sold that month, you're going to get the pay from that, but you're also going to get the bonus, okay? Now, if you bought the $9.95 kit, that means you get $9.95 back in a bonus. $6.95 kit, you get $6.95 back. $3.95, $3.95. Now, just to clarify, you do not need to be an expert on the commissions plan to understand this. All you need to know is that executive consultant is achieved by getting 600 in personally sponsored qualified volume, or 600 in sales, as I like to call it. It's a little bit more than 600 based on the retail value you get, but ask your sponsor how to get 600 in sales. Usually it's about 4 new preferred customers or 1 new business partner. It's that easy, okay? A leg is a new business partner on the $6.95 or $9.95 kit. And then level 2 means you have 2 EC legs, okay? I'm not gonna go into great detail. That's really simple. If you have questions, ask your sponsor. But basically what we're shooting for is 2 new business partners. Now, don't get scared off, because I'm gonna talk to you about how we do this, because it's not scary. It's actually gonna be super fun, and you're gonna have a lot of great times getting to this recruitment of your investment. But I want you to each believe you can do this. Every one of you can have a team of 2 people. Probably they're going to be 2 of the funnest people you ever met, because you're going to pick them. So believe that you can do this, okay? Now, the way we're going to start this process is to create a list. Now, your list is just this living document of a bunch of names. The biggest thing that people do wrong with the list is they already start to take people off of the list before they even put them on, okay? So what I want you to do is, if you haven't yet, start that list, and all you're doing is brain dumping people that come to mind. People you love to work with, people that are fun, people that are, the connectors, people that love to be around other people that love helping other people. They should all go on the list. Do not sort of pick and choose who likes skincare and who has experience in business. Those are actually really irrelevant to our list, okay? If you had to pick people that were interested in skincare and people that, were big time business people, I would have never made my sponsors list, okay? So just pick people that are good at what they do, they love other people, they're fun to work with, you would love to have them on your team, and they're just people that in general, that are helpful, okay? You want to make a list of 100 names. Just write them down. Don't judge, write. If some of them aren't the right people, we'll weed those out later. Just get the names on the list, because I want to prove to you that you actually do have 100 people pretty quickly. You should be able to make that list in 30 minutes or less, okay? Just brain dump people. Could be teachers, could be church friends, could be neighbors, could be people you grew up with, people you went to school with. Names of anybody, just stick them on the list, okay? Now, what we're gonna do with this list is we're not gonna pounce on all these people. So don't think that we're gonna ask all of them to buy your stuff or be in your business. What we're gonna do is ask them for help, okay? And they're gonna pick and choose where they think they can best help you. They might be interested in the business, so we'll give them an option if that's something that interests them. They might wanna try your products at a discounted rate as a preferred customer. Or if neither of those 2 appeal to them, we are not in the business of convincing people or pushing people. You're never going to get that from Team Give. But what we will give them an option to do is to be a helpful referral source for you, okay? So we're going to give everybody on that list an option of those 3 things, and they always fall in one of those 3 categories, okay? So the way we're going to do this is we're going to get into a groove of reaching out to people on a regular basis, okay? So now what I want you to do is take a look at my reach out language. One of the things that I think people make way too hard in the beginning is the reach out language. The reach out is not the magic. You are the magic. The way you say this and the confidence you approach it with is what's going to make this work, not the words on the page, okay? These 2 examples are the ones that I have always felt the most comfortable with, okay? So my first one is, hey, Susie Q, I started a new venture and I'm so excited about it. Could we connect this week for 10 to 15 minutes so I could pick your brain about how you could help me get the word out? I have Monday, Wednesday, or Friday mornings from 9 to 11 open. Easy peasy. That's something I could quickly put on a Facebook Messenger message or on text, okay? The second one, hey Susie Q, I would just love your help. I've begun a new venture and I'm looking to expand into several markets, including yours. I'm looking for some savvy leaders in the market to help me get it started. Do you have 10 to 15 minutes to jump on the phone with my business partner and I to pick your brain about some ideas for how to jumpstart the market and the kind of leader that I'm going to be looking for? Okay. Now, the thing you'll notice about both of these is that they're really hard to say no to. If you're my friend, all I'm asking you for is help or pick your brain. Okay. Now, what those keywords mean is that I'm looking to you because I trust you and I revere you as somebody that I care about their opinion. So that person's going to feel very special getting this message. Okay. So know that when you send it, you're making this person feel special and you really truly value their opinion. Okay. And then what you need to do is follow through with what you say. In the first example, I'm probably going to talk to them one-on-one, tell them what I'm doing, tell them a little bit more about what my why is, and tell them what I'm looking for. I'm looking for partners, I'm looking for customers, or I'm looking for people that will pass the word on. In the second example, I'm giving you an option for how to easily slide in what we call the conference call or the three-way call. Okay. A lot of people get hung up on, I can't get people to a three-way call. The reason you can't get people to a three-way call is because you don't believe that you can. And the reality is there's so many people out there that need this business that you got to get comfortable, okay? Because I can't even tell you how many military spouse friends of mine now make six figures. And if I hadn't had the guts to just throw it out there and ask them if they would listen to what I was up to, they would not have that blessing right now that's happening in their families' lives. So you got to be gutsy and share this because people need it. And you're the gateway for them getting it. Okay. Now, once we get moving, you're going to do 5 reach outs per day, just on the weekdays. These literally should take you no more than 15 minutes. Pop a text out, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then on Facebook. I actually always start on either social media or Facebook just because when I started this business, I had little kids and just going straight to the phone call was hard for me. So don't think that there's a right or a wrong way. Just get the reach outs out there. They can be in person. They can be on the phone. They can be on social media. There's no right or wrong way. Okay, the next thing that we're going to do then is once you put these out there, we're going to get to our first 3 practice calls. Okay, if you're brand new in this business, this right here is the bread and butter of how you're going to grow your business. Okay, now what I love about these practice calls is this is basically your sponsor saying, I'll do the work for you. Okay. So when I first started in the business, this was the one thing I jumped all over. I said, oh, you'll do the work for me? I'm scared to crap about how to talk about this. So I'll let you do it. So I brought 5 three-way calls to my sponsor. And sure enough, I think I got like 4 orders out of it. Okay. Now what these calls are for is not so much about getting sales as it is getting you comfortable with the process. Okay. 3-way calls are the secret sauce in this business because what happens is women especially don't typically make decisions based off of just one person's input. We like a triangle of security, if you will, to make a decision. So I always make the analogy, it's like you go into the dressing room at Nordstrom and you put on a pair of jeans and your best friend's with you and she's like, oh yeah, those are cute. Or your mom and she's like, oh, they're so cute. And you're like, oh, but you're my best friend or my mom. Of course you're going to say they're cute because you love me. But then the Nordstrom lady comes in and says, oh my gosh, I've never seen someone look so good in those jeans ever in my entire life. And you're like, holy crap, I don't care how much they cost. I'm buying the jeans because the third person came in and gave you validation. That's what the 3-way call does. Okay. So what we're going to do this first week is you're going to schedule 3 calls with the safest 3 people in your life. If you're married, one of them should be your husband because we want to get him the information and him to be just as aware as you are about how this works. The second one could be your best friend or your mom or your sister or somebody super safe. And then the third one, pick another one of those people. Could be a neighbor or could be another good friend. They should be the easiest 3 people. We call them your dirt list because they love you so much that they would buy dirt from you. Okay? That's who you're going to practice on. And we're going to do 3 calls, knock them out. You can even do them in one day if you want. They're going to be 15 to 20 minutes with your sponsor. And you're just going to practice. You're listening to your sponsor talk about the brand of the business, the background of the products, the press, and the opportunity. 15 minutes, knock it out. Okay? That's going to raise your comfort level immensely because you're going to see how your sponsor presents those 3 options to the person on the phone. They're not going to push them. They're not going to scare them. They're not going to be wacky. All you want to do is inform them and educate them on what you're doing and how they can support you. That's all it is. Okay. Now what happens is if you're doing those 5 reach outs a day, plus the calls, guess what? You're probably going to get 4 orders in your first couple weeks. That's what usually happens. And that's probably going to get you to your first promotion to executive consultant. So just follow this easy system and you're going to get there no problem. Now, what we're going to do next is map out that level 2 team. All this means is 2 partners. So think of those 2 people in your life. Maybe it's a best friend from high school, which is what I joined. Maybe it's another girlfriend from, whatever part of time, or other friend from time. Those 2 people that you cannot imagine being a 6-figure earner without next to you, okay? Because you're going to talk every day, you're going to collaborate, you're going to go on wonderful vacations together. These 2 people are the ones that you're going to build this company with, okay? So think about who those are, and after you do your 3 phone calls, we're going to call them next, okay? Now I want you to make a list of your top 10 dream teamers. And if you would be sad if somebody else got them on your team next week, do not hesitate to call them, because if there's somebody that's on your list because they're a go-getter, most likely they're going to be on somebody else's list too, and you do not want somebody else to get them on their team first, okay? Now, if they're scary and if you write them down and then you kind of want to erase them because they're the scary person, that's the person you want. Do not erase. Stick them on there. You may not make them for the first call, but you might the second after you get your cojones up. And it's going to be worth it, I promise. Some of the scariest calls I've made equaled some of the best business partners I have, okay? Now you can see this little picture here. This is you on top. Down below, this is going to be your first 2 teammates. Once they join, what's going to happen is they're going to do the same process we're talking about, and they're going to get their 2 partners. And you can see here on the bottom, look at how fast you can go in the fourth month if everybody were to duplicate this. You're making $40,000. Now, who couldn't use $40,000 in their life, right? The reality is this is not going to happen in perfection. But what if just, a small fraction? What if half of that worked? Or what if a fourth of that worked? I mean, anybody could use $10,000. So really understand the power of what we're teaching you here. It's amazing. Even if you just do it to a smaller degree, it's going to pay off. But building a team works, okay? I always say, you could have one Starbucks franchise that could be the best one in the whole world, sells more coffee than anybody else. But if you duplicate that franchise and you now have 2 franchises that are the best in the whole world, you're going to make double the money. That's what we're talking about here. You want to franchise yourself. Now this big business launch is the next step. Now I don't want you to worry about this big business launch, which is our grand opening party, until after you've done the other steps. Don't worry about it just yet. Get that first step done in the first week, then sit down with your sponsor and say, when would be the smartest time to do this? We want you to execute your big business launch within your first month of business. But don't worry about scheduling it and the details until after you get those 3 calls under your belt. You're going to have a lot more confidence, and this is going to be a lot more fun and less scary, okay? Now, the reason we do the launch, we're not a party company, right? So we don't have to do these. But the reason we do it is because it's efficient. So what we're going to do is send out a ton of invitations. I just had a girlfriend do this. She sent out like 100 invitations to people that didn't even live near her. So obviously they weren't going to come to her initial party. But what it did is it told them, oh my gosh, she's in business. I should ask her what that's about. And then she was able to follow up with everybody to sort of tell them a little bit more about what she's up to, which is a great way to start your business. We're not so much worried about the number of sales you get. All we really want to do is give you the chance to get up there and practice. Practice telling your story, practice, being a business owner and getting the word out about what you're doing. And then just celebrate the fact that you're on a new journey that's going to be amazing, okay? Now, the reality is a lot of times we don't live near our business partners. So if you're not right next to your business partner, it doesn't matter, okay? Because we live in the virtual world. I pretty much sit in front of this computer and do everything I do in this business. And you'll see a picture here of, a virtual meeting that we do. And you can do your launch online if that's what it takes. If your sponsor's not there and your friends aren't there. Be creative, talk to your sponsor if you can do a virtual launch. And if you're really up for going in that fast track, do one of each. Do a grand opening party in person locally as well as one online. And you're going to get off to a really quick start. Now, why does this matter? The reason it matters is because your paycheck directly is affected by how you start. They say that those who hit level 2 in those first couple months have a 70% chance of more success later on down the road. And you can see that here in our 2015 income disclosure statement. There's a new one coming for 2016 shortly, but for now you can look at the level 2 on average is making $8,000 versus the consultant who's not promoted is making an average of $790. The way you start your structure of your business really matters. You can make 8 times more in just those first couple months by doing what I'm telling you. So you might as well get off to a big start. If you decide to pull it back from there, that's totally up to you, but you might as well give yourself the gift of returning your investment and giving a strong structure to start. Now, if you follow the system we just outlined, which again is super easy, you're also going to be rewarded with lead the way gifts. What I caution you from is getting more worried about the gifts than you are about the structure. The structure of how you start is more important. So follow the 5 steps I just talked to you about. The gifts will come along the way, I promise. And if you are, able to do all of it at once, you can look it up on www.rfleadtheway.com to track your gifts. But I promise you, if you stay more focused on Fast Start than you do on Lead the Way, you're going to be in a stronger position. Okay, so just to recap, so we stay on time, we talked about the why and how important it is to resetting your business whenever you need to. We talked about the list and the reach out go-to language. You want to have that go-to language sitting as a cut and paste on your phone in your notes as well as on your email. I can't even tell you how many countless times I've cut and paste and sent that off. Now, I always tweak it to be personable, so I'm not a robot and I'm not a wacky, cut and paster, but it gives me a start so that I can be a much more efficient in the way I reach out to people. Obviously, you want to tailor it to that person. Then we talked about the 3 dirtless conference calls that you're going to do in your first week. Your sponsor is going to do all the work. Your whole job is just to invite to the call and introduce the 2 of them. That's all you have to do, okay? Then we're going to map out what your 2 franchises are going to look like. Who are those 2 special people that we're going to call that you're going to start this journey with and have so much fun with? Okay, and then you're going to schedule that BBL once you're done with these other things, and you're going to have a great time launching yourself and getting off to a quick start, getting level 2 by the end of your 3rd month, okay? The most important thing here is to have fun. This is a business that should be filling your cup every single day. Our job on Team Give is to do what we do so well that we have extra to give back to our passions and to change lives with. So I really encourage you to think about it that way every day. This business should not be the doldrums for you. It should be the excitement. This should be your fun job. This should be the troop of givers that fills your cup and feeds your soul every single day. If not, go back to step 1 and check your why again, because it probably needs some tweaking. But I promise you, once you nail it, you're going to get level 2. Your team's going to hit the Fast Start, and they're going to duplicate, and you're going to be on your way to something great. So thanks for coming with me today. I'm going to stop the recording here.